there. You see, the self is being unified, created, formed in each act of reflection or unreflection, of intentionality. So on page 90, then, he develops that further. The I that we find here is in some way the support of the actions that I do in the world. For example, the wood has to be broken into small pieces for the fire to catch. It has to, that's the quality of the wood, objective relationship of the wood to the fire, that has to be lighted. Now I'm breaking the wood. The action is realized in the world. The objective and empty support of the action is the I concept. This is why the body and bodily images can consummate the total degradation of the concrete I of reflection to the I concept by functioning for the I concept as its illusory fulfillment. When I say I break the wood and I see and feel the object, body, engaged in breaking the wood, the body there serves as a visible and tangible symbol for the I. What is the body? It's being in the world, my being in the world. That's what it is as a phenomenal object. So then we see the series of refractions and degradations which an egoology, that's a nice new word, egoology, would be concerned. Reflective, unreflective. Well, finally, page 98, bottom of the page, we may therefore formulate our thesis. Transcendental consciousness is an impersonal spontaneity. It determines its essence at each instant without our being able to conceive anything before it. Existence precedes essence. It determines its essence at each instant without being able to conceive of anything before it. The before it is mere existence from the standpoint of this new essence. Thus, each instant of our conscious life reveals to us a creation ex nihilo, not a new arrangement, but a new existence. There's something distressing for each of us to catch in the act, this tireless creation of existence, of which we are not the creators. At this level, the man has impression of ceaselessly escaping from himself, trying to be something else. The creative process continues. So, now when Sartre says that if God is dead, if there's no transcendental ego, anything is possible, you see, what he's saying is that in this creative act of spontaneously becoming a new self, there is absolute freedom. Because your freedom to act in any way in the world is what is going to create the new you. Your freedom, your act, you see. So what we have here is what he regards as absolute freedom. Now, he argues backwards from this. If there is absolute freedom, there can be no transcendental ego. Because if there were a transcendental ego, it wouldn't be absolute freedom. It would be pre-structured by the transcendental ego. If there is absolute freedom, there can be no God. Because then the ego would be structured by what God makes possible. So what he does with the Dostoevsky account is this. If God is dead, then anything is possible. Okay, anything is possible, therefore, no, it's the fallacy of affirming the consequent. You see. But all right. He's not trying to argue it logically. He's trying phenomenologically to show this is the case. You see. After all, if it is the case that there is a God or there is a transcendental ego, then there couldn't be that absolute freedom. You see? Yeah, it's as if his argument is more, if there is a God, there couldn't be absolute freedom. There is absolute freedom, so there isn't a God. Which is, an appropriate modus tollens argument. You see. Well, some people have pointed out that what you have in Satre, then, is the absolutization of freedom, a process that began in the Enlightenment, with its emphasis on freedom from tradition and authority, enlarged in Kant with his assertion of freedom of the will, the autonomy of the will, and enlarged in Hegel, where the whole of history is the gradual manifestation of freedom more and more fully, you see, and now culminating in Sartre, where, in his words, it is dreadful freedom. You see, the Romanticist rubs his hands in glee at the freedom for complete, full self-expression. But Sartre wrings his hands in despair at the dreadfulness of the fact that something I do could blow up the entire universe. You see. Anything is possible. Well, the heart of that is the concept of the self, quite plainly. Do you follow? Okay. I think he has a pretty consistent position. I think he's mistaken in the phenomenological description. And I want to make some comments about that next time.